If you have a Volkswagen, it's raining today, man. It sucks. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a trans strap. And if you have a performance motor, I mean, if you have a 1600, this is not going to hurt. If you put carbs on it, it's definitely not going to hurt. But a Volkswagen motor, if you look at it, like I'm talking like Type 1, like bug, right? Swing axle, IRS, doesn't matter. But the trans is held in 3 spots, right? It's on your nose cone, the very front of it, right? Front of the car. And then you've got 2 trans mounts in the rear. And the trans mounts on the rear, they look like this on 72 and earlier, 73 and earlier. The later ones, we'll talk about that in a minute. This will work on the later ones also. But anyway, these 2 trans mounts, they are in a little cradle, right? And the cradle looks like this piece, only it's not super thick like that piece. And these mounts, they go like there on either side. Now, as you think about how much force that car, that motor is turning that flywheel to make that heavy car go forward, right? Pushing those wheels forward. So when that trans is moving, that flywheel's moving, it's creating torque. And what that torque does is it wants to twist your trans. Well, the trans mounts keep the trans in place. And if you have rubber mounts, these bolts don't go all the way through. This is just rubber, like vulcanized, bonded rubber to a metal plate. Oh, it's coated. Anyway, these mounts will tear loose. The bigger motor you have, the harder you are on it, they're gonna tear loose. So how do we fix this? Well, there's a couple different ways. I like this way. It's a padded trans strap kit, right? Both pieces, right? Okay, so you gotta remove your motor to do this. It's probably a good time to replace the mounts also if you're doing that anyway. And you replace that stock cradle with this big heavy one, okay? And when that big heavy cradle, this is in the back, right, by the engine, that big heavy cradle just held on with these 2 bolts right there, right? And the strap goes over it and cinches it in, like cinching yourself in like a seatbelt. It cinches it in down to that mount, right? So it straps everything together. And that keeps the mount from wanting to lift. Now, they make solid mounts, right? Solid mounts. Now, and then it eliminates this piece and makes it solid. But the problem with solid mounts is they're strong, but they tend to, there's two reasons I don't like them. First of all, they're just noisy as all get out. And when you're in that car and you're cruising your Volkswagen, you don't need to have like a chainsaw in the back seat, right? It's just annoying. The other thing is solid mounts, if you're hard on your car and stuff, there's no flex, there's no give, so they can crack the metal parts of your car. So anyway, that's the rear, that goes in the bell housing, and then there's a piece here, and the frame horns go through here on both sides, right? And this just sandwiches in the frame horns, and it collapses around the middle part of your trans. And what that middle one is for, it's really important. We told our buddy Ben, like, put the mid-mount thing, oh no, I don't need to do that. Well, it keeps your nose cone, right, from separating. It gives you strength and rigidity in the middle so your nose cone doesn't break, which is a pretty common problem in Volkswagens anyway. So I know that was wordy. It is what it is. But now you know why. This is in my car. And this is just one of the things to strengthen that trans. We'll talk about a K-for bar. We'll talk about other stuff later, like an engine support. We'll talk about that later. But this is one key component. If you have your engine out and you're ever going to upgrade it, just put this kit in it in your trans. anyway. It's not going to hurt anything in a stock car, and it's certainly you want it in a performance motor car. Got it? Got it.